Greetings from our channel again. The well-known Heart star Stefanie Powers was once regarded as one of Hollywood's most brilliant stars. But beneath the glistening spotlight of celebrity, she faced some of the most devastating hardships life could bring. Stefanie lost two of her closest loved ones in a matter of weeks, devastating blows that left her feeling as if everything was falling apart. As if that weren't enough, she also had to endure a terrifying fight with lung cancer, which put her mental and physical fortitude to the test. But in the middle of seemingly overwhelming losses, Stefanie found another way. One in which she turned her sorrow into a tremendous source of fortitude. In addition to overcoming her obstacles, she left a legacy that goes well beyond her acting career. How could a woman who has suffered so much be able to bounce back so strong? What secret enabled Stefanie to use her struggles as motivation to live an extraordinary life? You will undoubtedly be enthralled by this tale. Born Stefania Zofia Paul, Stefanie Powers was born in Hollywood, California, on November 2, 1942. Despite being raised in the center of the entertainment world, she did not have a glamorous upbringing. As the daughter of a strong Polish Catholic mother and a gifted cameraman named Morrison Bloomfield Paul, Stefanie was devastated by her parents' early divorce. She needed emotional support from her mother and older brother, Jeffrey, Julie, and Paul, because of the distance from her father. Early in life, Stefanie's artistic ability became apparent. As a child, she started taking ballet lessons, and she devotedly attended the same courses as future Hollywood icons Natalie Wood and Jill St. John. This relationship wasn't just evidence that Stefanie was drawn to the arts from a young age. During these turbulent formative years, Stefanie found the inner will to endure. Her love for the arts was sparked by her ballet training, which also helped her refine her skills. Despite having a difficult upbringing, Stefanie used these setbacks as a springboard to achieve the highest level of success in the very competitive entertainment sector. Could an exceptional adventure have begun with these challenging early days? Continue reading to learn how Stefanie seized every chance to create a successful career and a lasting legacy. Stefanie Powers signed a deal with Columbia Pictures at the age of 16, seizing her first chance to enter the Hollywood industry. In addition to paving the way for her career, this agreement signaled a change in who she was. She changed her name from Stefania Zofia Paul, which had strong Polish roots, to Stefanie Powers, which was more acceptable to Hollywood. She started off with little parts in films like Experiment in Terror and McClintock, 1963, slowly becoming accustomed to the limelight. These modest positions, meanwhile, were unable to help her escape the anonymity of a highly competitive field. Stefanie, however, was unfazed. She played Agent April Dancer, a character full of potential, in The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. in 1966, landing her first major role. Sadly, the program didn't live up to the hype and was discontinued after only one season. Stefanie's hopes were severely damaged by The Girl from U.N.C.L.E.'s failure. She struggled to find work for the next 2 years, staying out of the spotlight in a field that was always changing. Her career and fortitude were put to the test during this time of silence. But Stefanie was not going to be forgotten. She first encountered Robert Wagner during a brief cameo appearance on It Takes a Thief in 1970. Even though her part was minor, their chemistry made a lasting impression on the program and set the stage for their future collaboration. This was the beginning of Stefanie's return to the public eye. Stefanie persevered in the face of obstacles and periods of seeming inertia. Even though they were difficult, those initial hesitant steps set the stage for her eventual comeback. In addition to keeping her in the game, her persistent dedication helped her be ready for the bigger possibilities that were ahead, opportunities that no one could have predicted. Was this experience only a brief setback that prepared the ground for a stronger return? Keep reading about Stefanie Powers' erratic adventure. After years of battling to establish herself, Stefanie Powers' portrayal of Jennifer Hart in Hart, 1979 to 1984, was the apex of her career. Jonathan and Jennifer Hart, an amateur detective couple, were the focus of the television show, which swiftly gained popularity on tiny screens. Throughout the 5 seasons of the show, Stefanie and Robert Wagner's flawless chemistry not only made a memorable on-screen couple, but also made a lasting impression on viewers. Stefanie's nuanced portrayal of Jennifer Hart was just as intriguing as her representation of an intellectual, alluring lady. Together with Wagner, she brought a dash of elegance and the endearing relationship between the two main characters to the series' everyday mysteries. In addition to advancing Stefanie's career, the show cemented her place among the top actors of the time. Stefanie's incredible journey continued with more than 35 films and more than 200 television shows. Stefanie's versatility and tenacity were seen in her roles in Escape to Athena, 1979, an exciting adventure picture set in Greece, and The Artist's Wife, 2020. She constantly provided her audience with newness and sophistication, whether she was starring in contemporary independent films or Hollywood classics. Stefanie never lost sight of her theatrical roots despite her triumph on screen, where she and Robert Wagner reunited for one of Broadway's most renowned productions, The King and I. In addition to these classics, she acted as the iconic actress Tallulah Bankhead on international tours with Looped and in revivals such as Sunset Boulevard. Her onstage performances demonstrated her daring willingness to take on difficult, technically demanding parts in addition to her deep love for the arts. Additionally, Stefanie pursued a career in music. She worked with renowned pianist Paige Cavanaugh on the jazz album On the Same Page, which was published in 2003. The record showcased Stefanie's diverse artistic abilities while paying homage to traditional American jazz. Her warm, soulful voice gave the songs a special charm and revealed a side of her that was far different from the one that was seen on film. Stefanie cultivated long-lasting ties with her co-workers during her thriving career. Although she acknowledged the pressures she faced behind the scenes, she remembers working with Sandra Dee on If a Man Answers with Fondness, praising Sandra's dazzling, starry presence. Sandra battled under her mother's rigorous control, dealing with personal issues such as a turbulent marriage that left her yearning for harmony in her life. Additionally, Stefanie treasured her encounters with icons such as John Wayne. The Quiet Man, starring Maureen O'Hara. She remembered their commitment during difficult times and appreciated their smooth cooperation and expertise. Stefanie also talked about her incredible experiences working on Die, My Darling with Tallulah Bankhead. Stefanie was deeply impacted by Tallulah's wacky demeanor and audacious stunts, which provided both amusement and wonder in equal measure. The artistic career of Stefanie Powers is a monument to tenacity, unwavering inventiveness, and enduring bonds. She contributed genuine devotion and authenticity to every part, guaranteeing her legacy as a star who not only shone brilliantly but also lived on in her fans' hearts forever. Stefanie Powers had a difficult personal life despite her accomplishments in the workplace. Her life was forever changed by 2 unsuccessful marriages and a deep but sad love affair with William Holden. In 1966, Stefanie married actor Gary Lockwood for the first time. Both were establishing their careers in Hollywood at the time, and their relationship was initially full of promise. But over time, their personal disputes and professional demands caused them to drift apart, giving Stefanie a harsh lesson about love in the cruel entertainment industry. Stefanie started a close and passionate relationship with one of Hollywood's most renowned stars, William Holden, in 1972. Through their animal conservation initiatives in Africa, the two were able to share their love of nature and their enthusiasm for the arts. Far older than Stefanie. In their joyful years together, William gave her company and comfort. However, there were difficulties in their love. Alcoholism was a problem for William, and tragedy struck in spite of Stefanie's attempts to assist him in overcoming it. Stefanie was horrified when William died in a terrible accident at his house on November 16, 1981. Stefanie recently talked about how much she loved William Holden in an interview, describing it as a love so intense that she has found it difficult to let go of it. Stefanie acknowledged that it was very hard to find someone else like Holden, but she never fully closed her heart. Although she hilariously recalled getting letters and Polaroids from suitors, she made it clear that it was difficult to find a spouse who was actually compatible. Stefanie barely recovered from this tragedy before suffering yet another terrible loss 17 days later. Her childhood classmate Natalie Wood, who was also her close co-star Robert Wagner's wife, perished in an unexplained boating accident. Stefanie experienced one of the saddest times of her life with the deaths of 2 loved ones in quick succession. On Heart to Heart, Stefanie has frequently discussed her unique bond with her longtime partner, Robert Wagner. They were very close pals, she said. Incredibly in tune with and appreciative of each other. Their common tragedies, the deaths of Natalie Wood and William Holden, further cemented their friendship. Stefanie admitted that even though their friendship existed before these losses, their bond was strengthened by their shared sadness. She said that working together for up to 14 hours a day for 5 years, as they did on Heart to Heart, created a special bond that was unlike any other she had ever known. Instead of giving in to her suffering, Stefanie used her sorrow to carry on the task that William Holden had been so fervently committed to. She established the charity William Holden Animals Foundation in 1982 with the goal of protecting animals and assisting local populations in conservation initiatives, especially in the US and Kenya. Stefanie dedicated her life to helping communities live in balance with the environment and preserving wildlife. Following Holden's passing, the foundation became a beacon of light in her life, giving her a fresh sense of direction and a means of paying tribute to the man who had had such a significant influence on her life. Stefanie Powers never gave up on finding happiness in spite of her loss. She wed Patrick de la Chesnay, a French businessman, in 1993, but their union lasted only until 1999. After that, she started dating Tom Carroll, a former U.S. Navy officer and auditor, for a long time. Over the course of their 14 years together, Tom developed into a vital source of emotional support that helped Stefanie deal with all of life's obstacles. But when Tom died in 2014, this relationship again ended in grief, leaving Stefanie to deal with severe loss once more. Stefanie Powers never had kids in any of her partnerships. She previously acknowledged that this fact was the biggest source of her life's sadness. Her marriages and personal relationships were profound and significant, but none of them gave her the chance to fulfill her lifelong dream of becoming a mother. Stefanie had serious health issues. After receiving a breast cancer diagnosis in 2007, she had successful surgery and treatment. However, Stefanie's diagnosis of lung cancer in 2008, a result of her 20-year smoking habit, was another heartbreaking blow. Stefanie felt as though her life was being taken away from her when her doctor told her that the sickness had infiltrated her body. Lung cancer was a terrible reminder of the years she had neglected her health, in addition to being a threat to her life. She was forced to face a harsh reality as a result of her helplessness and future-focused anxiousness. She was losing her life. Stefanie had surgery in 2009 to remove a portion of her right lung. In addition to being a dangerous procedure, it was also a significant turning point in her life. The recuperation process was difficult. Stefanie struggled with chronic pain every day and occasionally felt too worn out to go on. Although her physical strength had diminished, her will to fight had not wavered. But it was more than just bodily pain. The imminent fear of death in life was one of them. She reminded herself that she had to fight and live every day despite her misery. For her own sake, but also for the legacy she had devoted her life to creating. Her mother, a constant source of emotional support, died at the age of 96 following a protracted illness that same year, adding to the burden of her loss. Stefanie's grief was exacerbated by the loss of her mother. She was dealing with the loss of the person she loved the most in addition to a life-threatening disease. It seemed as if a piece of Stefanie had been broken by the death of her mother, making her life even more depressing and difficult. Stefanie's health continued to deteriorate in the ensuing years. She stopped appearing in public on a regular basis. She progressively stopped going to important events, living a more reclusive life and spending more time on wildlife conservation, which was one of her and William Holden's shared priorities. When she did appear in public, she frequently exuded a sense of weakness and exhaustion. Although her body lacked the energy it once possessed, her fortitude never wavered. Stefanie resisted giving in to the agony. Her commitment to the conservation organization she established to continue her late partner's work, the William Holden Wildlife Foundation, was unwavering despite her failing health. In addition to being a personal victory, each stride Stefanie took demonstrated her unwavering spirit in her will to overcome any obstacle, no matter how big or small. Stefanie Powers' later years were a remarkable voyage of resiliency rather than just a tale of her battle with cancer. She persisted in overcoming hardship, making the most of what was left, and motivating next generations. Her bravery and commitment will live on in her legacy. A beautiful example of a woman who refused to let fate have her way. With multiple honors, including a 1992 star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and numerous international awards like the Medal of Peace, One Earth, Stefanie Powers has made a lasting impression on both the entertainment business and society. These honors serve as evidence of her impact both inside and outside of the community, in addition to her remarkable career. In addition to her artistic accomplishments, Stefanie has dedicated a great deal of her time to wildlife protection. She has taken part in conservation initiatives at American zoos and worked with prominent groups like the Jaguar Conservation Trust. Stefanie has always been passionate about protecting animals, especially once she managed to link her work in film with her desire to protect the environment. Stefanie has carried on her late companion William Holden's legacy by establishing and serving as president of the William Holden Animal Foundation, which supports animal conservation initiatives in the U.S. and Kenya. Her foundation creates educational initiatives to increase public awareness of conservation and endangered species habitats in addition to funding animal preservation initiatives. Even though Stefanie has had tremendous success in the arts, her charitable and creative pursuits continue to motivate younger generations. She leaves a long legacy of compassion and dedication to humanitarian and environmental principles, going beyond her profession to ensure the survival of nature. With remarkable performances, Stefanie Powers has maintained an amazing stage career to this day. She has made appearances in well-known shows in the US and the UK, including Looped and On Golden Pond. Her outstanding acting abilities are further validated by these performances, which also maintain her close relationship with audiences and demonstrate her continued importance in theater. Now, a big portion of Stefanie's life is split between Kenya and California. Through the William Holden Wildlife Foundation, she dedicates her time to wildlife conservation in addition to her artistic pursuits. She has dedicated herself to preserving nature and wildlife over the years, working with international organizations and speaking at international gatherings to promote environmental conservation and animal welfare. Her autobiography, One from the Heart, and her solo concert series, Heart of My Heart, have further contributed to her enduring popularity. While her performance program gives spectators a close-up look at the personal and professional journey of a movie star, a tale of compassion and resiliency, her narrative serves as a tribute to an inspirational existence. With the help of medical professionals and cutting-edge therapies, Stefanie has effectively managed her health in recent years. She disclosed that she is using a specialized drug that is only prescribed to 5% of cancer patients. Her medical staff is still keeping a careful eye on her health and providing her with precise and compassionate guidance throughout trying periods. Stefanie Powers continues to inspire others via her work, exhibiting steadfast devotion to her passions while resolutely and gracefully overcoming obstacles in life. Stefanie Powers' life is more than just her Hollywood career, but a representation of tenacity and unwavering commitment. She has triumphed against innumerable obstacles, such as devastating losses and illness, to not only establish a distinguished profession but also have a significant influence on the field of wildlife conservation. Stefanie has demonstrated that despite difficulty, enthusiasm and perseverance can turn setbacks into opportunities for personal development. How do you feel about the inspirational journey of Stefanie Powers? An unrelenting woman. How did she persevere in giving it her all in the face of the most difficult obstacles? Does her story motivate you to get past your own challenges? We would want to hear your opinions about Stefanie Powers' remarkable life. Her legacy serves as a potent lesson in compassion and resiliency in addition to being an artistic inspiration, reminding us all that we can overcome any obstacle. For more amazing tales about the legends you like, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in our upcoming video.